Hi guys, Hideaki, hello. I was a little bit late sorting myself out today, so sorry about that. Okay, welcome guys. Also, welcome to anybody who's watching the replay. You may notice that my voice is a little bit dodgy today, but I'm going to do my best, and because I haven't been very well, but I didn't want to leave it, to do the next live stream. I wanted to do it now. So let's crack on. So today I'm just going to get straight into the slides. We're going to talk about idioms or idiomatic expressions related to illness and recovery. So I just picked this topic because I've been ill and now I'm recovering. So it's topical to me at the moment. Santosh, hello. How's it going, guys? Imajinx, good evening. Good evening from India. Nice evening there. It's 1:30 in the afternoon here in Spain. It's a lovely sunny day. Happy New Year to you too, Alexander. Happy New Year to everybody. Hope you guys enjoyed your New Year celebrations. I did. I was in London with a friend of mine, a friend from university. So we've been friends for, gosh, many years now. Yeah, and that was good. And then I flew back to Spain last Thursday. And yeah, pretty much as soon as I got home, I started feeling ill. I got it, like my throat was sore. And then that night, I just, oh dear, it was horrible. Anyway, I'm going to talk about that during the presentation. So let's get on to it. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for coming today. It's quite a good turnout today, actually. I'm still experimenting with the best time of day to suit most people. So thank you for coming. Also, massive thank you to those of you who subscribe to the channel. So your support really does help. And yeah, let's get on. Okay. Last Thursday, I came down with the lurgy. So anyone heard of the lurgy before? Do you know what it is? And Imajinx, yes, idioms absolutely are the heart of the language. And when we start getting to higher levels, then idiomatic language really does make a big difference to your understanding of native speakers, because we use them all the time without thinking. If you're in a more international context, business, with native speakers, yeah, I think often we're guilty of using idiomatic language and we don't really moderate the language as much as we should when we're around non-native English speakers, and it can cause issues. Fabri, on your lunch break. Hello, Happy New Year. Yes, it is slap bang in the middle of lunchtime, isn't it? Well, in England, certainly. In Spain, it's early for lunch. Like most people don't eat till after 2. Well, the lurgy, this is a very British thing. I could be wrong, but I don't think that this term is used in North America. Although, as I said, I could be wrong. So it's a humorous term. The lurgy is a mild, that is not serious illness. So if you've got the lurgy, you've got something, maybe a cold. People use the term flu a lot, don't they? They say, oh, I've got flu. Flu is actually quite serious. Most of the time when someone says, I've got flu, they haven't really got flu. They've got a cold, maybe a bad cold. But the lurgy is a mild illness. It's not serious. So this is what happens to me. Currently, I have the lurgy, although it's getting better. let's have an example sentence. Ugh, I've caught the dreaded lurgy. And I've thrown in this adjective here, dreaded, because I like it. Yeah, lurgy, definitely cold rather than flu. It's not the flu. So dreaded. If something is dreaded, it is greatly feared. So English people like to exaggerate. We do this a lot, you know, oh, the dreaded lurgy. It's not dreaded. We don't fear it, but we like to be dramatic, you know, like if you're feeling a little bit ill, you're dying. So this is the British way. I'm going to put in the comments actually. So dreaded is the adjective. Dread is a verb. To dread something. If you dread something, you fear something bad happening. For example, if you have an exam and you haven't studied for your exam, you might say, oh God, I'm dreading my exam. Will this live lesson be available on YouTube? Yes, it will. After a live stream, it typically takes about, well, I don't know, about 24 hours, but a long time to process the stream. So if you're going to watch the replay, it's a good idea to leave it until tomorrow. Also, that gives me an opportunity to get in and edit any bits out. Like, for example, I've been coughing a little bit this morning. So if I have a coughing fit in the middle of the live stream, then I'll edit that out for people watching a replay. Hi to everyone who's just joined. Akosua, Ettore, how are you guys? Yeah. Cool. Yeah, so, and you can find, I've got a live stream playlist. So you can find all previous lives if you go to my channel and take a look. Okay, so let's move on. I've got the dreaded lurgy. Oh, poor me. I want to look now. So the same example, but we've got a phrasal verb here. I came down with the lurgy. So what do you guys, do you know this phrasal verb, to come down with something? And if so, what does it mean? Just give you a moment to think about that before I tell you the answer. Phrasal verbs, as you know, another thing that that's really important when you start getting to higher levels. Idioms, phrasal verbs, a couple of the keys to understanding native speakers. Hideaki, to suffer from an illness. So yeah, if you come down with something, you start to feel unwell, basically. It's to catch a mild illness. And an important point here about come down with something. Yeah, something is happening to me about health, exactly. So an example would be, I've come down with a cold. It means I've caught a cold, I've got a cold. Yeah, I'm getting sick. It's another way to say it. Interesting. We're going to talk about sick later in the lesson, because we use this word in a couple of ways. I just want to point out a common mistake, a common learner error. So we wouldn't say I've come down with cancer, because cancer is not a mild illness. Okay, so we only use come down with something that's not very serious. So I came down with the lurgy on Thursday. I couldn't sleep because I was burning up. This is true. Ooh, it was horrible. So if you're burning up, What do you think it means to be burning up? Yeah, under the weather. Yeah, so this relates to catching a mild illness. If you are under the weather, put this in the comments. You have a mild illness. Yeah, you don't feel 100%. Bubble, hello. Thank you. Thank you for the get well soon. I'm getting there. You know, I don't feel that bad today. I've got a bit of, in English, we say woolly headed. I'll put that in the chat as well. So a bit woolly headed. I feel like my head is full of wool. I'm not thinking 100% clearly. Yeah. Alexander, if you're burning up, exactly, you have a high temperature. A high temperature. So a point about this, in British English or UK English, typically, we always used to say temperature. I've got a temperature. And in North American English, they would say, I've got a fever. But there's an increasing crossover between North American and British English. I noticed it actually when I was at home for Christmas, and my brother, his wife, everyone in my family was coming out with these Americanisms. They all now say movie instead of film. I still say film. I don't know, but I wonder how long. And I noticed that a lot of people say fever now in England rather than temperature. So I don't know. Will there come a time in the future when there really isn't much difference anymore between North American and British English? Maybe. We consume so much North American media in England, like film and series. So I couldn't sleep because I was burning up, but strangely, an example here. So you're burning up, take some painkillers. Take some painkillers. Painkillers are things, as you can see in the image, like paracetamol. This is the British answer to everything. If you're in England and you're not feeling very good and you go to the doctor and they'll tell you, take some paracetamol. It's like, the paracetamol is a painkiller. It literally kills the pain and makes you feel better. So I was burning up. I couldn't sleep. I was awake pretty much all night, and I had a bad case of the chills. So this is another thing, the chills related to, that. There's an adjective here that I'll put in the chat. Chilly. If you are chilly, you're cold. So will my stream be at the same time weekly? It's not currently at the same time weekly. I've been experimenting, I guess, with different times because I've only been doing live streams for, when did I start? November? I think I started in November. I did a couple in the evening. I did one around 4. This is the earliest time that I've done so far. Yeah, the same time every week. I'm torn about that. On the one hand, it's good to do it at the same time every week because then people know, when to expect it. But equally, it's good to change it because, my audience is global and everyone's in different time zones. So if I always do the same time, some people would never be able to attend. So yeah, I don't know. I'll probably continue to do different times for that reason. But yeah, let me know what you think about that in the comments. Let me know. Same time every week or change it so that more people can potentially have a chance to attend. Saturday night fever, yes. Thursday's a good choice. No other streams I know of. That's good to know. Yeah, Thursday generally works well for me. I've done Wednesday and Thursday so far between the 2 days. Happy to settle on Thursday if that works for most people. So the chills. Fixed time is more difficult to miss. Yeah, that's true. That is true. I'll ponder it. So if you've got the chills, you're shivering because your body is trying to get warm. And we use this when we're talking about illness. And it's weird because you have a high temperature. So actually your body is hot, but you feel cold and you're shaking. So that was me on Thursday night, all night. I had the chills after my previous COVID-19 vaccinations as well. Interestingly, I didn't really have other symptoms, but I had a bit of the chills. Not a nice feeling. So let's take up. That night, I felt like death warmed up. This is a typical expression. I think it's fairly self-explanatory. If you feel like death warmed up, you look or feel very ill, a bit like this unfortunate fish in the image. So I felt like death warmed up. It was not good. Vaccines. What vaccines have you used? I don't remember which vaccine I had when I had my COVID vaccinations. It was a couple of years ago now. I had 2 different ones, I think. So I had 2 vaccinations, and each time it was a different vaccine. And nothing recently. I had COVID during the summer, and I was really quite ill, which was a surprise to me because I thought I was immune because I didn't get it when I was staying with my mum and she had it. But yeah, weird illness. So there's a difference here between the UK and the US. In England, we'd say generally, oh, I feel like death warmed up. The US variant is death warmed over. So this is what the internet tells me anyway. Again, I'm not an authority on North American English, so it could be wrong. Okay, so yeah, you look like death warmed up. Go back to bed. So as you can see, we can say feel or look in this case. Okay, let's move on to the next one. In the morning, I felt like I'd been hit by a bus. So another common expression. As mentioned earlier, we Brits like to exaggerate. So, I've got the lurgy, which is mild, it's not serious, and yet I feel like death warmed up and I feel like I've been hit by a bus. It's all, quite exaggerating the situation. So again, I feel very ill. Did not feel good that morning. My head's banging. I feel like I've been hit by a bus. So my head's banging. This is another common expression. Excuse me. And if your head is banging, to show you a picture, then you have a bad headache. Like literally bang, bang, bang. Like something banging on your head. Let's see. Fabry on working days, my lunch break would be top notch. Fabry, before you go, let me know your time zone. Your time zone, or well, I guess 1 till 2 p.m. would be now, wouldn't it? Except starting a bit earlier than we did today. So cool, I'll bear that in mind. Bear it in mind. Okay, so feel like I've been hit by a bus. My head is banging. Typical things that we say when we're not feeling good. Happily, now I'm on the mend. So we're recovering here. And if you are on the mend, you are starting to feel better. We can use this with an illness or an accident. Where do you think this expression comes from, on the mend? Can anybody tell me what this word mend means? What does it mean? Forgive the coughing. Mend, in this case, you can see that we're using it as a noun. We're saying the mend, but it's actually the most common use is as a verb. Amend. It's actually not related to amend, which is also a verb. To amend, like, how do we define amend? To change something, to change a written document. I would say to amend something, to change the wording of a document. Yeah, exactly. So the mend, the verb is to repair. So if you've got this, yeah, to repair something, to also to fix. So I'm glad to see you're on the mend. And here we have this, to repair something that has been broken. There are actually quite a lot of English expressions that use the word mend, thinking about it. We have a common one from which comes from First or Second World War, or maybe both, which is, I'll put it in the chat, to make do and mend. This is a mentality, because during that era, the Second World War, people didn't have easy access to things, or not such easy access to things. You couldn't just go and buy everything new. So people got used to fixing things that were broken. If your clothes had holes in, then you didn't buy new clothes, but you sewed up, or you mended the clothes that you had. And so to make do and mend is to sort of to live with what you have, use the things that you have, and make them last, repair the things you have rather than buying new things. So yeah, it's a shame we don't have more of that mentality today, isn't it? It's not even possible nowadays. Like, I know a certain brand, which shall remain nameless. I think they've started like sticking or gluing their devices so that it's not possible for people to change the batteries or to fix them themselves. Because of course, in our consumer society, they don't want us fixing things. They don't want us to make do and mend. They want us to buy new. Yep, sad. Current status. Yeah, I'm sure. Recuperate. Yeah, to be on the mend is to recuperate. Yeah, exactly. So let's have a look at our next one. So it's taken a week yeah, a week today since I started feeling ill, but I'm finally feeling human again. So again, I think you can you get the idea of what this means when we say I'm feeling human again, like feeling better after an illness. It's a very typical expression, this. I'm sick of being sick. I can't wait to feel human again. So here we come to this word sick. Two uses of sick in this sentence. I'm sick of. So let's talk about that first of all. To be sick of something. If it's followed by a verb, then it would be in the gerund form. So sick of being sick, not I'm sick of be sick, no, always ing. What does this mean, to be sick of something? Just think of some more examples. So if you don't know, you can perhaps get it from the context. I'm sick of my neighbors playing loud music. That's not true, fortunately. My neighbors are quiet currently. I'm sick of the rain. I'm sick of the cold weather. Being British, I'm obsessed with the weather. So those are the expressions that come to mind. Fed up with, can't stand. Yeah. Fed up with is the best sort of explanation there. You're fed up. You've had enough. So I've had enough of it. And you can see from the emoji there, I'm annoyed. I'm like, ugh, really? You know, I'm over it. I've had enough. Bothered, yeah. I'm bothered. I'm annoyed. Like it's been going on for long enough, and I'm sick of it. I would like it to stop. I'm sick of Trump. Yeah. Generally, I avoid talking about political things on here, but yeah, I don't mind admitting that I'm not a fan of Donald Trump. So, his attitude towards women is questionable, among other things. Yeah. Indonesia. Do you know, I lived in Indonesia for a year. I lived on the island of Java in the east, near the East Javan capital, Surabaya. It was my first English teaching job, actually, back in 2011, January 2011. I think I moved out there. Beautiful, beautiful country. So let's look now at the other usage of sick here. So I'm sick of being sick, to be sick. What do you think that it means to be sick? There's more than one correct answer. While you're thinking about that, yeah, let's learning idioms. It is difficult. What is the key here? The key, I guess, is not to overwhelm yourselves. So if you're learning idioms, is to focus on, a relatively small number at a time, and try to apply them, in ways that are useful to you or relevant to your life. Yeah. Tired of being sick. So here, I don't want to be ill anymore. So this is one of the meanings of being sick. Yeah, to be sick is to be ill. I'm tired of being sick. I'm tired of being ill. So both these responses. But we also have to vomit. So it depends on the context. So I'm tired of being sick and I've been like, throwing up all morning, vomiting all morning, perhaps, then I could say I'm tired of being sick. But it can also mean just being ill. So both of these meanings. Now, the previous live streams that I've done, sort of before we move on, I think there's just one more idiom that I want to look at. My previous live streams have all ended up being around an hour long, and I don't know, I feel like maybe that's too long. You guys let me know what you think. What's the ideal length of time for a live stream, sort of moving forward? Today's one is not going to be an hour. As I said, there's one more expression to look at, so it's going to be a shorter one today. Probably total around 40 minutes. But I'd love to hear your perspective on the perfect length for a live lesson. Let me know in the comments. So we're going to look now at the last one. Now this one, excuse me, it was just a touch of man flu. This expression, this is a British, again, like a UK thing, humorous, but know your audience. I guess some people, I don't know, potentially could be offended by this. I don't know anyone in practice in my life who is offended by this, but the idea with man flu is that it's a mild illness, but the person who has it treats it as being more serious than it is. So, and I think a lot of us are guilty of this. We have a cold and we're like, oh, I've got flu. It's, it's terrible. It's like, no, you just got a cold. So, Jeff's off work with man flu. I included this name because, it's an interesting one from a pronunciation perspective. Jeff can also be written with a J, J-E-F-F. Jeff. Jeff's off work with man flu. Stop whining and get up. It's only man flu. If you're whining, you're complaining. To whine. And this idea of man flu is sort of so entrenched in the British mind that you could, Jeff is a pessimist. Yeah, exactly. Is so entrenched in the British mind that actually there's all kinds of merchandise around man flu. Oh gosh, sorry to hear that. Yeah. I lost a good chunk of the year because of COVID as well. I was out of action for probably about 3 weeks in total. A week and a half of that time, I was just horizontal. I could barely stand up. It was horrendous. So just to kind of show you how much we love this expression of man flu in England, I'm going to show you some of the merchandise that you can purchase. Now, I'm not selling this, I'm just showing you because I think it's funny. So you can get a hot water bottle recovering from man flu. You can get a mug, man flu survivor. And last but not least, you can get a t-shirt, which, what does it say? Illness that causes the male to be helpless and sicker than any other family member. And then in females, a cold. So this is why some people might potentially be offended because, it's saying that men don't handle illness as well as women do. It's all a joke. It's intended to be funny. So I might say, yeah, I've got a bit of man flu at the moment. It's not serious. Basically, I have a cold. A live lesson on the position of adverbs. Interesting. Yeah, I can add that to my list. Yes, yeah. Um, men can die if it. Exactly, exactly. Is it a kind of exaggeration? Yes. Yeah, for sure. Like, as I've said a few times, the British, we love to exaggerate when something is not serious. Something a little bit, I don't know, maybe strange about the British is that when something is not serious, we exaggerate. And when something is serious, we do the opposite. What we call downplay it. So something not serious, we like to exaggerate, like, oof, I'm a bit tired, and I might say, I'm absolutely exhausted. Or the kitchen is a little bit dirty, and I might look at it and go, that is absolutely filthy. So we do like to exaggerate, but then something very, very bad happens and we do the opposite. So, for example, imagine a conversation and you say, "Oh, how are you today, Em?" And I say, "Oh, could be better." You say, "Well, what happened?" Yeah, my cat died. It's not great, is it? Not feeling too happy. So rather than telling the truth and saying I'm absolutely devastated, this terrible thing has happened, we sort of play it down, and so something strange about the British there. Don't know why we do that. Let's see, does man flu mean a joke or kidding? Yeah, pretty much. It's intended as a joke. It's not serious. And we say this, and we don't just say it to men, we say it to women as well, although the idea of man flu originates from women saying that men don't handle illness as well as they do. Stereotype, generalization, not saying it's true, but yeah, so that's where it comes from. So if imagine you're at work and one of your colleagues is complaining a lot, they've got a bit of a cold, but they keep talking about it, and they're really making a big deal out of this small illness. Then you might sort of jokingly say to them, "Oh, come on, it's just man flu. Get over it." Like, don't be so dramatic about your mild illness, is basically what you're saying when you say to someone, "Oh, it's just man flu." So to avoid homework, yes, exactly. Or going outside for sure. Yeah, no, I couldn't possibly go pick the kids up from school. I'm feeling terrible. So really, are you? I have no cloth to go outside. Do you have such a joke? Maybe I have nothing to wear. People might say, like, I have nothing to wear. Yeah, typical. I don't think I've ever heard a man say this. Not to say that they don't, but yeah, this is typically associated with women when they're getting ready to go out and have, a lot of clothes in the wardrobe, and they say, "Oh, I've got nothing to wear." It's like, well, you've got lots of things to wear, actually. Yeah. English is, I mean, it's full of sexist jokes, to be honest. Most of them are kind of in favor of men. So man flu is a rare example where it goes the other way. And that's the last one. The French are just the opposite of what you said. So Santosh, how do you mean, like in terms of exaggerating and downplaying things? That's I've never actually been to France, which is crazy given how close it is to England. I've been through France on a coach, but we just stopped at a petrol station, so I don't. That doesn't count, I don't think. You know, if you like this lesson, if you learned something and you're not already a subscriber, then consider subscribing to the channel. And let me know your thoughts in the comments regarding sort of live stream dates and times, whether you prefer fixed or whether you prefer it to move around. Hello, hello, hello. Nice to see you. We're just finishing, I'm afraid. Have a great rest of the day, guys. Thank you for joining me, and see you next time. Bye, guys.